The Foreign Secretary has warned the West has become a soft touch for its enemies and said it needs to renew and reinforce its commitment to defending democracy. Liz Truss today claimed the West had become weak in the face of aggression from authoritarian states and needed to ramp up defense spending and adopt a Reagan-style policy of peace through strength. The former Prime Minister was speaking at a conference hosted by the National Council of Resistance of Iran, where she told delegates decades of appeasement by both politicians and bureaucrats in Britain, the US and EU had emboldened the Iranian dictatorship, which was now on the cusp of building a nuclear weapon. She called China, North Korea, Russia and Iran the axis of aggression, and warned that if the West did not take tough decisive action now it would be facing a world where Iran. She said, "How did we get here? It wasn't just the malign activities of the mullahs, it wasn't just the belligerence of China and their threats to Taiwan, or the kleptocracy of Russia, it is because in the West we are weak. We failed to spend enough on our defenses. Instead of taking action against authoritarian regimes, instead of defending freedom and democracy, too many in the West benefited from cheap oil and cheap gas. And it wasn't just the politicians like Biden and Macron, it was the bureaucrats who just didn't want the fight. But what we know from history is that if you don't deal with an aggressor early you end up paying later." She said the West needed to adopt the Cold War-style peace through strength approach championed by Republican President Ronald Reagan in the 1980s. Truss was in Paris addressing members of the NCRI, a pro-democracy resistance movement dedicated to overthrowing the Ayatollah and